Hello everyone, this is a brief recap of my last class, Ethics in Business Analytics. Just as Zuckerberg claimed that now we are living in the age of big data, and the age of privacy is over. Nowadays, you are using the technologies such as websites, mobile apps, Internet of Things, and all the IT companies are collecting large volumes of data from you. These data includes maybe your private information such as financial information, social network information, and even health information. Why these companies are so eager in collecting these data from you? Because nowadays data is viewed as the new oil for modern commerce. If you can master some advanced analytic techniques, then you can identify a lot of valuable information from the data and transfer the data to the business value of your company. For instance, it could be used to promote the effectiveness of your marketing strategy and to save your human cost. However, having large amount of data stored in your database could also lead to some disasters to your company. For instance, when they are unethically used, it could bring damages to your company, and it could maybe to harm your reputation and to destroy the trust from the consumers. So as practitioners, we need to be aware of the potential ethical problems within data analytics. This is a basic framework of all the potential ethical problems. As you can see in this figure, ethical issues exist throughout the lifetime of data, including the data collection, storage, transformation, and usage. Throughout this process, there are mainly 4 ethical problems listed here. For instance, the user consent, the fake data, and sharing data with unknown third parties, and finally, analyzing the data with some unethical purpose. Okay, I will explain these 4 ethical problems one by one. First is about the user consent. Imagine that you are shopping online, and sometimes the websites are collecting lots of information without your agreements or even awareness. For instance, you cannot imagine that some of your clicking behaviors, some of the shopping records, some of your usage patterns and duration of usage is collected by the website. It's unethical and illegal to use and collect data in this way, and sometimes it could result in some legal disputes for the company. So before you collect data for your own business, you need to make sure that you have a transparent privacy policy and get user consent. There are 4 basic elements about a transparent privacy policy. First is that you need to explain why you would like to collect this data to your consumers. Second, you need to tell the users how these data could be used and could not. Third, you need to promise that you only collect the necessary data and some unrelated data should never be collected. And finally, you need to make sure that at the end of the privacy policy, you have a button that asks users to agree that you collect the data as you stated. Some of you may ask, okay, so I understand these concepts, but for my own company, how to generate a privacy policy, considering that I do not have the professional knowledge to do this? Okay, so in my last class, I think I have demonstrated that how to create a privacy policy using this free tool called freeprivacypolicy.com. You log into this website and following certain steps to create your own policy documents. This is the homework of last class, so I hope some of you could share your work with us? Okay, and volunteers? Okay, please. Thanks, excellent work. I think we all learned from this practice. We know that when using this tool, you need to fill the basic information of your company and to specify the data you are going to collect, as well as the purpose to collect this data. And finally, you click this button to generate your own privacy policy. Then we go to the next ethical problems. It's about fake data. Imagine that you own social commerce platforms and you would like to use some fake online reviews to influence your consumers. Is it possible? Sure. You have some fake reviews like, oh, this product is so good. Then the consumers may be biased and purchase more about this product. But it is unethical. It is not allowed to influence your consumers with fake information, fake accounts, fake online reviews. And this could also result in some legal disputes. Okay, so imagine that you are a owner of the platform, so you have the responsibility to ensure the data authenticity. And you need to also learn about some advanced techniques to detect the fake information within your database. Okay, and this is because some of the fake information is not generated by yourself, it's by other users. So later in this semester, I will show you how to use some techniques to detect fake data in the large volumes of online reviews. The third ethical problem is about sharing data with unauthorized third parties. I think most of you are familiar with the Facebook data scandal, right? That is a third-party application called Cambridge Analytica that collects data from Facebook users. They develop a program to use this information from these users and predict their voting patterns. This is a very famous data scandal. So maybe anyone can share more details about this story. Okay, you please. Okay, thanks for sharing. So let's see what we have learned from this case. I think there are mainly two tips. First is that as a public platform, Facebook should not allow their employees or allow their website to share some data with unauthorized third-party implications. And second, it is that sometimes Facebook would like to provide some public APIs for other applications to use their data to create some value. But they need to be very careful in designing these APIs. For instance, some identifiable information should not be provided through these APIs. Finally, it's about ethical use about the data. This is a case about an online travel broker. You can purchase some maybe flight tickets, for instance. This broker collects sensitive information such as your mobile operation systems and your browser history to detect whether you are sensitive to the price. For instance, if they find you are a consumer not sensitive to the data, which means that you care very little about the price, then they will provide you a higher price. Do you think this is ethical or not? Perhaps this approach is still under debate, but personally I think there are some ethical problems because you are not using the data in a way that benefits the users to provide better service for the users. Instead, you are trying to harm their interests. So that's all about the unethical use of data. Finally, we could summarize why it's important to use the data ethically. Okay, I think it's very important because ethical use of data could benefit the long-term success of your business. For instance, it could help you to establish a very good reputation, help you to increase your consumer relationships, and it could result in mutual respect and trust from consumers. At the end of this class, I will leave a ballot question for you to think about. It's about the case that Amazon developed an automatic recruiting tool to make a judgment whether they should hire a person or not. This tool collects sensitive information in the CVs of job applicants, such as their age, their gender, their work experience, to be used in their automatic decision process. You can search more information about this case after the class, and next week I will ask someone to show their judgments on this course, this case, whether they think it is ethical or not. I think that's the end of today's class. Here I will briefly show you how this class is developed based on some of my teaching philosophies. I think there are mainly three philosophies used in my teaching. First is that I always try my best to provide content that are practically useful to my students. For instance, when talking about the privacy policy, I not only let the students to master the basic concepts, the basic elements in the privacy policy, but also show them how to practically generate a privacy policy for the real business. I show them how to use the free tool, freeprivacypolicy.com, and explain the detailed process to use this tool. Second, I try my best to interact with my students. I always provide opportunities for them to discuss, to share their knowledge and experience, and to answer some questions from me. For instance, in my teaching, when talking about the Facebook data scandal, I asked someone to describe this short story with us. And when talking about the privacy policy, I asked someone to share their homework with other students so that they can learn from each other and they can learn from the presentation. I think it's an effective way to make the student to actively engage in my class. Finally, I think it's important to encourage the critical thinking from students. I think it's not only important to remember these concepts, but they also need to have the ability to think by themselves. They need to make independent judgments. So for this reason, I have a ballot question at the end of this course, and it's part of their homework. I think this could allow them to try to collect more information, search for more news after the class, and they may be willing to have a vote next week and to debate with others whether, in this case, Amazon's recruiting tool is ethical or not. This could make my class more interesting, and that's all about my teaching philosophy here. Hope you find the information to be useful to you. Thank you.